The rally continues uninterrupted, 103 points higher, 50,220 is where we are at. Jigar Mistry is co-founder of Buoyant Capital. He's joining us right now to take some questions. Jigar, thanks very much. Good to have you here. Earnings have continued to beat expectations broadly. Have you done some work? How far ahead of expectations are third quarter numbers so far? We're almost at the end now.
Good afternoon, Prashant. Good to be back. Yes, you are exactly right. I think after a while, I'm seeing some amount of upgrades in the Nifty EPS, so to speak. So when we started the quarter, I think around one quarter before you actually saw a large part of the impact flow through, we were somewhere closer to 660 odd rupees for the current fiscal year. That essentially sort of moves up to something like 710, 713 if I saw it right this morning. So I think over years, last 5-7 years, if you look at it, there has always been this cycle where, analysts start with a very high estimate and through the year, they sort of taper it down. You could argue that this is for the first time in a very, very long period, you are seeing EPS actually bump up and the things are turning out to be way better than what was initially thought. And I think some amount of credit goes to the way the corporates have handled themselves through the COVID pandemic. So although, third quarter itself would have some amount of costs that are not coming through even as revenue starts flowing back. But most commentary across the conference calls is suggesting that part of the, cost saving is going to be structural. So from that perspective, a cycle that I believe we started almost 2008, where corporate profits to GDP had started tapering down. I think we could be in the initial years of that turning around. And that's, again, at a very low level as we speak. So I think this could be the first signs of actually profitability power or the pricing power between employees and corporates across industries and larger corporates shifting back towards the larger ones. So looks like a good time.
Jigar, morning. Reema here. So if we are at the start of an earnings upcycle, do you see a lot of gains left in the markets? Because there is some hesitation to invest in the markets, with the Nifty above the 15,000 mark, the Sensex well above 50,000. Would you recommend buying right now? And if yes, what would you be buying?
Yeah, good afternoon, Reema. I think, that's a central question all through. Now, we all of us have some sort of recency bias built into our behavior. You look at the last 5 years, right? 2015, we had the banking AQR, 2016 demon, 2017 GST hiccups, 2018 NBFC crisis, and 2020 pandemic. And in each of these cycles, the go-to theme became consumption and consumer discretionary. And those P's are gone to levels that initially when I started my career would have been considered bizarre. So, so that part of the market is something that continues to be very expensive. And what tends to happen is that when you look at the other part of the market, that corrections are getting corrected very, very swiftly. So last week, the last month when I was on your show, we discussed a stock called State Bank of India, which is part of our portfolio even now. But that correction for something like an SBI or some other smaller cap names, within a month or 2 months, it is trying to bridge, differences that have remained uncorrected for a large part of 2 years. And then it looks as if things are changing and, this is uncommon behavior. But when you, take an extended period of time, and I don't know if you have those numbers, but when you look at, say, last 18 years, the Sensex, mid-cap and small-cap indices have returned the exact same CAGR. I think it could be 1% here or 2%. So what tends to happen is that there are years when Sensex outperforms, but then there are years where mid-cap and small-cap catches on. So I think if you are investing, depends again on what kind of portfolio you are running. But there is still a lot of steam left in some names which we think, are structurally have not still fully caught up. Not to say that you're not going to see pullbacks along the way. So I'm not saying that this keeps on going up in a linear line upwards, but there are still a lot of businesses which are far more interesting than the themes we have become very used to over the last 5 years.
You have, and we should put some of these names up, ICICI Bank, Federal Bank, SBI, Bharti. These are stocks which you own in your portfolio. There's ABFRL, United Spirits, Max Financial, Cyient, eClerx, and so on and so forth. Quick word on United Spirits, Jigar. What's the, I mean, I don't think we've discussed this before. Many of the others on this list we have. Could you talk about this one?
It is a classical reopening trade, Prashant. So what happens is that, spirits and to some extent United Breweries as well, they sort of are consumed out of home in India to a large extent. And with restaurants opening, you saw ABFRL report yesterday, although the revenues continues to be a sort of not match up to pre-COVID levels, but the cost cut has started flowing through. It will be a very similar state for UNSP. There is an incremental play in terms of how this taxation works in India in case of liquor companies. And sort of if you go to our website, we have listed out a study last week where if you look at UP, for example, the excise collection growth for UP is something like $1 billion in total taxes collected in 2017. They are now close to $4.5 billion or close to that for FY22. And that essentially goes by, you try to bring a lot of the unorganized industry into organized industry. So this business per se has been sort of at vagaries of state governments trying to increase the sin tax whenever whenever everything else is not working. And I think all of those states will now try and learn from UP on how to expand their overall tax collections rather than, per sort of unit taxes increase. So if that were to happen, then a lot of these businesses which are now trading at valuations which imply sort of government, usually taxed government business to a completely discretionary business, that sort of switch would be relatively easy. So it's not just opening up trade, but there could be structural benefits to be had if a lot of other states start learning from UP. So that's an interesting reopening trade in addition to ABFRL that we own.
All right, Jigar, thank you very much for talking about that and others as well. Appreciate your time here as always on CNBC TV 18. We slip into a very quick break here. We come back, more lined up on the other side.